Thanks for your company. The details now. Supporters of the National Democratic Congress Thursday staged various protests in some regions across the country. We'll take you to Ketu South shortly, but first, let's go live to Maxwell Agbagba. He's around the Kanda area where some protesters have gathered. Hello, Maxwell. What's happening now? So what you see now are live visuals while we wait for Maxwell to join us. The police trying to disperse protesters. They're firing something there. We'll get Maxwell to confirm for us. But earlier today, they massed up at the EC headquarters, and Maxwell was there to speak to some of the protesters who faced off with the police. The Accra Region Police Director of Operations, ACP Kwesi Fori, has been appealing to agitator supporters to desist from burning ties on the roads and destroying property.
Placards that some of them were holding, some of them left them here at this roundabout. Some of them, Jean Mensah don't dare burn Ghana. First time in Ghana to have errors in declared election results. Why EC? No reconciliation, no precedent. There's another one here. Our democracy is under attack. And you can see that one also very close to the statue there. It says Jean Mensah must resign now. Let's take you down the road. Let's try and get a sense of the destruction that happened here some minutes ago. So we are told that this thing here was brought down by the aggrieved supporters. So you can still see the remnants of the ties that were burnt here by the aggrieved supporters. And we still have some of the ties down that stretch. Okay, so what you can see right now, some of the NDC supporters in your shot, my camera technician would give you an idea. Okay, so these are some of the supporters who had to seek refuge elsewhere after they were dispersed. By the police. Let's see if they are not hostile. We'll talk to them. If they are hostile, come. Let's talk to you. Come.
So that's Maxwell Agbagba earlier around the EC headquarters today. Let's take you now live to the Northridge area. The protesters are still there. Hello, Maxwell. We saw the police earlier firing to disperse the crowd. What exactly is happening?
Okay, so Dennis, right now what you can see, rubber bullets police are using to disperse the crowd. Same thing we have here in that container. So these are rubber bullets they're using to disperse the crowd. Now, things were calm some minutes ago, but the situation escalated again. And now they're trying to de-escalate the situation. So some minutes ago, the agitating crowd was somewhere very far away from this place because the police officers had mounted crash barriers right in the middle of the road. But they started charging at the police officers, and the police officers had no option but to also move in and push them a bit further from getting closer to the EC's head office. So what you can hear being fired right now are rubber bullets that they are firing at the crowd just to get them to move further from the EC's head office. Some of the people who are agitating, we heard them shouting, "No Mahama, no peace. No Mahama, no peace." Some minutes ago, the police actually opened this road to traffic, but now the crash barriers are actually back, and they are trying to de-escalate the situation right now. There's still some firing going on. I can see some of them running away. Let's get closer so you can have a good view of what is happening right now. Many of them have told us that they are going to continue demonstrating, and this will continue for days. You can see the Accra Region Director of Operations in control of the situation as it stands now with his men moving in on this stretch of road. This part of town has been cordoned off to traffic as it stands now, and that has created some kind of gridlock in the capital city. So if you want to go to the Central Business District, if you want to go to our Ridge and its environs, at this point you cannot, because the security officers here are carrying out this operation. So the lady going, the police officer going, is actually picking the remnants of the rubber bullets that were fired some minutes ago, and they have that in that vehicle. Let's try and get the Director of Operations for the Ghana Police Service. This is a very crucial and critical time. Let's find out from him. ACP Kwesiofori, what is the strategy now?
The strategy is to drive out the vandalism that we're witnessing on the street, destroying property, attacking individual, so forth, and will not sit down for lawlessness to prevail on our street. First and foremost, the assembly is unlawful, and also using petrol and other dangerous liquid. We will not accept this, and in line with public order management, we will make sure that we drive them out based on strategies coached in good governance. Over.
Some minutes ago, we saw some of them blocking a section of the road here. They also littered a portion of the road. We can see still some of the roadblocks that they put here. What are you doing about that?
We've cleared all. You might have noticed that we cleared lorry ties, we cleared obstacles, and we're making sure that we'll continue to clear those that we're seeing.
Okay.
Yes, we realize that some people are being arrested.
Now they are pelting the huge stones, huge rocks.
Yeah, now the second stage.
Hello?
Are the police officers, David Amma, kindly come back. Okay, it's getting a bit. Can we have a good view of what is happening right now? They're pelting huge rocks right now. The supporters are pelting huge rocks at the police right now. And that happened as the police tried to take some persons into their custody. You can see that huge rock being pelted at the police, and the police is also leaving those stones unturned here. I can see the Director of Operations for the Ghana Police Service, ACP Kwesiofori, commanding his men to move from the other sections, telling all of them to move in to push the crowd further. As it stands now, this entire stretch that leads to the Central Business District to Ridge and its environs, cordoned off to traffic. Okay, so you can hear now giving orders to his men to move in on the protesters, get them to move further away from the Electoral Commission offices. This has been happening for the past 4 hours. These are protesters who are unhappy about the 2020 election results. They told us that they are going to be here for the next 2 days. They told us that they came here planned, and there's no way they're going to relent in their efforts to get their voices heard in this particular protest banners. So as it stands now, these are some of the crash barriers on the road, and these are some of the stones that, these are some of the rocks that they were pelting at the police. Now the police route is moving in with police officers also to control the situation. So banners, it's a charged atmosphere here right now.
I imagine that Maxwell Agbagba would come back to you as you continue to stay with the police. Please stay safe. My colleague Maxwell Agbagba, they're bringing us live reports on what's happening with the protests here in Accra. But let me take you back to the EC headquarters, close to the premises. Earlier, Maxwell spoke to some of the supporters there.
Some of them left them here at this roundabout. You can, some of them, Jean Mensah don't dare ban Ghana. First time in Ghana to have errors in declared election results. Why EC no reconciliation, no precedent. There's another one here, our democracy is under attack. And you can see that one also very close to the statue there. It says Jane Mensah must resign now. Let's take you down the road. Let's try and get a sense of the destruction that happened here some minutes ago. So we are told that this thing here was brought down by the aggrieved supporters. So you can still see the remnants of the ties that were burnt here by the aggrieved supporters. And we still have some of the ties down that stretch.
Let's now go to the NDC stronghold, Ketu South, for some sight and sounds. And there was a protest there earlier this morning, and we credit this video to one Lord Chester 80 on Facebook. We'll be bringing you more as we focus on what's happening in the country with regards to the election verdict that's been protested by some NDC supporters. Well, still in your shots, you can see the live visuals from Northridge, and Maxwell Agbagba is covering that for us. But away from the capital, the Wenchi High Court in the Bunu East region has dismissed the New Patriotic Party's petition brought against the Electoral Commission and the National Democratic Congress on the Senate West parliamentary elections. Now, the NPP's parliamentary candidate for the constituency filed the petition to annul the declaration of Senate West parliamentary results. The court described it as irredeemably incompetent and also fined the governing party 14,000 cedis for wasting the court's time. Mike Erastus Asare-Donko has been following up on this, and he monitored proceedings. He joins us with more. Hello, Erastus. So what reasons did the court offer for dismissing this case? Well, we'll try and reach Erastus. We understand there are issues with the line there, but there you have it. The Wenchi High Court has dismissed the case the MPP filed to have the parliamentary results in that particular constituency annulled. Now, 6 presidential candidates in the 2020 elections are calling on the flag bearer of the NDC, John Dramani Mahama, to go to court if he has issues with the elections. There's more in the following report.
Some members of the National Democratic Congress have been protesting the 2020 election results, describing EC's result declaration as flawed. This comes after NDC flag bearer John Mahama indicated that he will not accept the results. 6 presidential candidates of the 2020 polls, Hassan Ayarga of the APC, David Apasera of the PNC, Ivor Greenstreet of the CPP, Henry Herbert Latte of the GCPP, Kofi Akpalu of the LPG, and Jacob Oseyeboa, who was running mate of independent candidate Alfred Walker, entreated the NDC to seek legal redress rather than resorting to protests.
It was appropriate that as leaders we should come together and add our voice to the request for peace in Ghana, to a request for the reduction in tensions in our country.
And we want Ghana to be free and fair, but peaceful. So we are making a call to all political party leaders, all past presidential candidates, that all the rank and file and supporters of our parties, and all Ghanaians, that we should exercise restraint, exercise caution, and know that it is upon all of us, it behoves on every Ghanaian to work for peace, and that we need peace in Ghana.
We have political independence. What we need is economic independence, and let's do that to make Ghana great and strong.
We are also calling on the presidential candidate and former President John Mahama, for the fact that he has not accepted this is also democratic, but we implore on him and his followers to take democratic processes. Yes, protest is a form of democratic process, but it's indeterminate in the sense that you may not know what may happen during demonstration. Courts, however, is the final place of arbiter where collated figures can actually be changed if there are facts to support that.
I will ask if anybody has an issue with the election, the best place is to go to court and seek redress, because that's the only solution that we have, go based on the CI that we have. But going on the street, destroying properties will not solve the problem. The best thing to do is to go to court, and when you go to court, we all learn from it.
I hear people say, no justice, no peace. But I want you to know, no peace, no justice.
And that was a report. Let's go back to the Winchi High Court in the Buni East region, where that case brought by the New Patriotic Party to have the parliamentary results annulled has been dismissed. Erastus Osari Donko is there for us. Hello, Erastus. What reasons did the court give for dismissing this case?
Well, Dennis, there is so much noise here, but if I heard you, I will go ahead and tell you what is happening here at the Techiman Divisional Police Command. The Winchi High Court ruled that the Senate West electoral proceedings should continue. In fact, they dismissed the NPP case and the a cost of 14,000 against the NPP. Now they've come here, all parties, NDC, NPP, the Electoral Commission, they are here at the Divisional Police Command, and they want to continue with the process, and the understanding is divided. The NDC is saying that they did not go to court to ask for recounting. And the MPP is saying that what they understand by the court order is that they should go ahead with the proceedings, which include counting the disputed ballot box and adding its contents and making a declaration on who has won the election. And that has degenerated into a whole lot of verbal exchanges and all that. And so currently we are inside the station. They are trying to solve that issue out for the NDC to understand and the MPPs to also understand, they come to a common ground, and then they will count the ballots in the disputed ballot box and then make a declaration here.
All right, Erastus, so what reasons did the court give for dismissing the case brought by the NPP?
Well, the court said that it lacks merit, the case that the NPP brought before it, and so it dismissed it totally. But then it did not go ahead to give any specifics as to whether they should go ahead and do the counting, what happens to the ballot box that was snatched by somebody, which the NDC claims has been tampered with, and so they will not allow that to be counted. It does not give any specific directions as to that. And that is what has brought the bone of contention here. Two parties are disagreeing on whether to count the ballots in the box or not. And so currently, the NPP has a key to the locked ballots, and the NDC has a key to the same padlock. The NPP says they are ready. The NDC says they are not ready, and so they should wait for their general secretary, who just stormed out of this place in an angry manner, to come before they start the counting. That is the bone of contention now.
Erastus, so have you heard any suggestion being made that they go back to court for clarity on the ruling, since they don't appear to agree on interpreting what the court ruled on?
Dennis, can you come again?
I am asking if there have been suggestions to go back to the court for clarity on the ruling.
Well, the NDC is proposing that, but it's all drowned in this whole verbal exchanges, insults, and exchanges here at the divisional headquarters. And the NPP thinks that they are just trying to buy time by asking them to wait and suspend the process for about an hour. And the NDC also thinks that, well, there should be clarity on what the court said, whether it was to count the disputed ballot box or to go ahead with the process as been count without that particular ballot box. And that is what is happening at the moment. And so we are waiting to see what the regional police commander and other security agencies here and the two parties could decide on, or whether they will agree that they should count the ballot box, the disputed ballot box, and make a declaration here at Techiman.
We'll leave it here. Erastus Asare Donko joining us from Wenchi there. You see in your shots members of the NDC and the MPP who are still deliberating on what to do with that ruling from the Wenchi High Court. Well, back in Accra, Collins Kweku alias Kola, the suspect being held by the police in connection with the shooting which occurred at the Ablekuma Central constituency on the 8th of December, has been remanded into police custody for 1 week. The accused person pleaded not guilty to 6 counts of causing harm, possession of firearms without lawful authority, and using offensive weapons without legal authority. On December 8th, 5 persons, including a police officer and a journalist, were shot at the Collation Center in the Ablekuma Central constituency at the Odoko Police Church after the suspect allegedly opened fire indiscriminately. In court today, lawyer for the accused, Faisal Sise, who pleaded for bail for his client, contended he is a public officer employed as a national security officer. My colleague Kweku Asante was in court and joins us with more. Hello, Kweku. So just tell us what the reaction was when the news was delivered by the suspect's lawyer that he was a member of the national security.
Well, so Benes, there was quite an uneasy in court today when the suspect was declared as a member of the national security. And so the lawyers was actually contending that the specific actions he took was his lawful authority, the actions he was supposed to be taking on that specific day. And so when the lawyer said that, of course, it did not convince the judge to give him bail, who still remanded him in custody. But the sitting or the hearing started quite late because the suspect was not brought in so early. But when he was brought in, the charges were read to him, 6 counts of causing harm, possession of firearms without lawful authority, and using offensive weapons without legal authority. When these charges were read to him, he pleaded not guilty to all 6 counts. And so what the court had to do was to decide whether or not to grant him bail or not. but the court decided that he should be remanded in police custody until next week, 24th December 2020, when the case will return to the circuit court for more deliberations to take place.
Kweku, we can see the suspect in a sling and some bandage around his hand. Do we know exactly what led to that injury?
Well, the police explained in court that when he was apprehended at the specific collision center on 8th December, they used tasers and other things on him because he was violent, he had guns and other things. And so he was actually admitted to the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. And according to his lawyer, he's actually still on admission at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. And so the bandages and all those plasters you see around him were some of the injuries he suffered in his blowout with the Ghana Police Service and other members of the security services at Odoko at the Ablikuma West Constituency Collision Center last week.
The Ghana Journalists Association was in court today. What was their reaction?
Well, so I spoke with Kofi Eboa, who is the General Secretary of the Ghana Journalists Association, and he's been saying that they are going to follow this case to its logical conclusion. You could sense that they thought that this guy was, having been explained in court that he was a national security operative stationed at the Jubilee House, the office of the president, at the operations department in court, there was this notion that maybe there was certain unseen hands that were going to interfere in the case. And so the General Secretary of the Ghana Journalists Association actually saying that they are going to ensure that there is justice for this journalist who was shot and other people who suffered various degrees of injuries at this specific station. So Kofi Eboa is saying that they are going to make sure that they follow this case to its logical conclusion and make sure that justice is served for all those involved.
Right, Kweku Asante there giving us details of what transpired in court earlier today. You're watching JoyNews today with me, Bernice Abubedu-Lansa. And earlier we brought you the protest by NDC supporters in the Ketu South constituency and also right here in Accra, Northridge to be precise. We showed you visuals of the police shooting rubber bullets at them. Our man, Maxwell Agbaba, is still on the ground and we'll bring you updates on that particular situation. But coming up shortly in business, UND...
My name is Darryl Kwao. The United Nations Development Programme has urged government to invest in social infrastructure to ensure an all-inclusive development as Ghana's economy recovers from the COVID-19 pandemic. Launching the 2020 edition of the Human Development Report, the UNDP said the Ghana Cares program should be accessible to the right industry players. More in this report.
The United Nations Development Programme in Ghana has launched the 2020 edition of the Human Development Report in Accra. Engaging the media on the sidelines of the launch, resident representative of UNDP, Angela Lusigi, urged government to invest in social infrastructure to ensure an all-inclusive development as the economy recovers from the COVID-19 pandemic.
So for all those children who've been locked out of school, and you have the numbers, how do we make sure that they can be able to access quality education? How can we learn the lessons that we've learned from COVID-19 to make sure that everybody can access healthcare? So those are some of the critical things that we have to look at going forward. Even as the Ghana Cares program looks at businesses, it looks at investments in industry and so forth, we have to carry everybody along and make sure we also have investments in social infrastructure as well as hard and soft infrastructure.
On his part, economic advisor of UNDP Ghana, Frederick Mugisha, says Ghana is progressing steadily when it comes to its human development projects.
According to the Human Development Report, in the index, we account for gender differences in inequalities related to education, health, and standard of living. Ghana has been doing very well in terms of human development progress. Since 1990, when the first report was written.
This year marks the 30th anniversary of the first Human Development Report and of the introduction of the Human Development Index. This year's report focused on human development and the Anthropocene. Nicholas Brown for Joy Business.
The Cocoa Research Institute of Ghana is cautioning cocoa farmers against the use of fertilizer sacks and polythene sheets in fermenting cocoa beans. The practice is said to have adverse effects on the quality of beans, which then affects the purchase and market demand. This was revealed when the institute handed over a cocoa fermentation center as part of the fine flavor cocoa project at Offenso in the Ashanti region. Mr. Pia reports.
Na ya boni de akuso ntia no 7 days and 6 days na ya 2 diaba
Owusuamuaku, a cocoa farmer in the Offenso area, has been used to unorthodox ways of drying his cocoa beans.
But mama me hu say what ten na e mani nyina atimi ferment kama e ma flavor na wo pe no so utimi nya.
Officials say these materials, together with placenta, the use of polythene sheets, result in either under or over fermentation. Poor drying of the beans results in the development of acidic beans, which affects off flavors in the beans. Dr. Isaac Yaopuku is Executive Director of Cocoa Research Institute of Ghana.
When it comes to the quality of cocoa, no country comes near Ghana. And the quality depends on, as I said, on the variety and the fermentation. Here, what we have realized that some farmers are using mosquito nets, which is contaminated with chemicals. Some are using plastic bags, which is also unacceptable. And some are also using other unapproved materials to ferment their cocoa. Some are even using fertilizer bags, which are also contaminated with chemicals. So what cocoa research has prescribed is the use of banana or plantain, leaves. That is what we use in fermenting our cocoa. Anything other than that would compromise the quality of our cocoa.
So if you have it in this first chamber, after 48 hours, you come and you realize that the top down to 4 inches is well fermented, but below is poorly fermented. So now you transfer it into this one. And in the process, the top fermented beans go to the bottom here, and bottom unfermented beans comes up. So the whole idea is to make the fermentation process easy, and at the end of it all, get all the beans properly fermented.
This is an improved way of effectively drying and fermenting the cocoa beans, as he explains, introduced to the farmers. The institute has handed over a cocoa fermentation center as part of its fine flavor cocoa project in Offenso district. It is the first ever farmer-owned fermentation center to help address the problem of under-fermentation of the cocoa beans.
And the small business news at the top of the hour. Up next, sports. Stay tuned.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the sports segment with me, Reiko Wampofo. It is a midweek for redemption, and it's for outstanding games in the Ghana Premier League. As yesterday, we did see a match that was supposed to take place on match day 1 between Hartlepool and Adriana Stars. And the 2-0 in favor of the home team, Adriana. And Hartlepool coach Costa Papic says that his side were not ready for the encounter.
We are not ready for this match, obviously. I mean the players. A little bit better in the second half, but that is not enough. Missing so many chances, missing the penalty, does not give us the chance to win the match today. Like I said before the match, it's going to be upside down. One match you win, one match you lose. It's something like that until we start to be stable. Time is not yet there, but it will come. It will come.
New coach Costa Papic and his 1 victory against Dreams and 1 defeat against Adriana Stars. But let's hear from the man who led his side to victory, Pakosi Fabian. He said that they needed this win against Haas to change their season's narrative.
Well, I think I told you that we'll be coming out all guns blazing, and we're going to fight for every ball because this 3 points is very important for us to be able to turn the page and to change the narrative. And that's exactly what I told my boy, and I think they did well, and they played to instructions, and we carried the day.
Would you say that it is still work in progress, or you are satisfied with the output today?
No, we have a lot of positions that we need reinforcements. I think the management is aware, everybody's aware, so we are still working so that we are managing this so that when the window opens, then we'll look around and see if we can get 1 or 2 players for the positions that we really need, especially in the attack. When our talisman is not well, you know, he's got a shoulder problem, but we have to convince him, we have to beg him to come and play for us. So that's it.
Of course, the outstanding fixtures are not done. Kotoko would be playing against Accra Great Olympics at 3 p.m. today at the Accra Sports Stadium, but still on Ghana Premier League clubs. Let's look at GALCA, that's the association for the league clubs, and their chairman Kujo Fianu has attributed the poor development of football in Ghana due to a lack of financial injection in the industry.
That financial injection in the industry of football, we are not getting that. That is why our players are running away to Ethiopia, Kenya and the rest, Guinea. We think that we've reached a point that corporate Ghana, we should not only pay lip service to the passion of the nation. It must be seen tangentially. And also, we must also position ourselves very well to be trusted with money. I don't think your sponsor will be happy when your players are being interviewed on radio for 2-3 months, they haven't been paid. So these are some of the challenges. Getting the right, we are still struggling with the right facilities. You go to some of the league centers, even where we are talking about GPL, some of the playing pitches are still nothing to write home about. These are challenges that I think we should try as much as possible to put behind us, so that we can attract sponsorship. The media definitely will have to cut your support, because here we are, 2 of us, but with the magic of the camera, millions of people are going to see. So we should position ourselves. The media should partner us so that we can sell our product across the world. And while selling the product across the world, people will want to invest.
Or you can get more sports stories at my Joy Online /sports, or follow the handle at JoySportsGH on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. My name is Oreko Wampofo, and World News is up next.